Long day lay me low. Hey, welcome everybody. Welcome everybody. We have an edition of Get to Know Your Creator. We haven't done one. We haven't done one yet this year. It's been a couple. I don't know, maybe a couple months since we've done one, but we are determined to get campaigns done. Eyes on great artists, great creators on YouTube's and socials, and with me as always is the great Angela Curry. What's going on, Angela?
Hello, I'm doing well. How are you doing today, Jason?
Outstanding.
Most excellent.
No sarcasm at all. Yeah, we got a great guest today. Wonderful guest. He's a friend. I've known him for a while now in this creative sphere. And I just got a Facebook notification. I don't know why. Let's close that one. Yeah, he's a friend. Great artist. Great dude. Great JBOT.
Hey, how you guys doing today?
What's going on, man?
Hey, JBOT.
Good to see you.
Happy
Good to
Sunday
see
to
you. Yeah, thanks for doing this, man. I frequent the we'll talk about it obviously, but I frequent the art department, and after the show I was like, hey dude, you want to come on? You know, we'll just shoot the breeze. And you were happy to oblige. I know you have a family and a life. So.
Yeah. Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, so thanks for doing this. You're East Coast, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So all right, good. Same time frame. All right, that works. It's not like, it's 7:00 at night. Yeah. So I noticed a couple people popping in the chat. So let's say hi real quick, Angela, to people in the chat. Or not. I know Haldir was first.
No, this is like seriously, you can tell we've been off for 2 months. I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Like, yeah, so we're just gonna roll with the punches.
Yeah.
Yes.
Give it that little, call try. So
right.
K-pop is in the house.
Hey, what's up,
K-pop.
K-pop?
We got the very wonderful Henry Bemis joining us today.
Hey, what's going on, Henry? Welcome.
Very cool. Yeah, I'm really excited to hear about your book and so forth because I really do like your concept and everything. So this will be fun. But we'll talk about that later.
Awesome.
Yeah. No, yeah. We'll talk about it now. It doesn't matter when we talk about things. There is no structure. There's no structure.
Structure is so lame sometimes.
Who wants organization? No. Yeah. Welcome everybody. We will try to greet people as they come in. Great chat, great subscribers, and great people out there. And Jay, we've known each other a while now. Like what? Maybe a year and a half or so.
Probably. Yeah.
It's been a bit. How did you first get into did you first start with your YouTubes? Like, how did you first get into like this crap?
So I always kind of did YouTube, I think. Like I had a YouTube for I did a gaming YouTube before, just like reviewing games and stuff, just because I always enjoyed doing it. And then I stopped that for a while, and when I got back into art, actually kind of recently in the past 2 years, maybe 3 years, I drew throughout high school, was heavy into art. Then I graduated, tried to get into school, and just I didn't like it. I just hated it. But then I just stopped. I just stopped doing it. And then a lot of stuff starts, I'm watching, all of a sudden your boy Zach starts popping up on my feed. I haven't looked at comics in forever, and I'm watching this guy review stuff. And then from that, it bounced to, Ethan Van Sciver talking about how to create comics and stuff, even before Comicsgate was a thing.
Yeah, like him going to Michael's and stuff like that.
That was the video.
Picked up the erasers and the pencils. Yeah.
And that was the video. And I just was like, and then shortly after that, I watched the first, then Dan Fraga started getting recommended to me. And I saw the first Fragtober. And I just was like, dude, I'm going to get in on this. And then I started drawing again. And then lo and behold, I just all right, well, if I'm going to draw, let's grab that YouTube. Let's put it together, and here we are.
Nice. So yeah, you were like me, you had your YouTube, you actually weren't like me. You did stuff with your YouTube at first, but dude, I've had my YouTube since 2009, 2008, 10, whatever, forever, but I never put content on it. I never touched it really. So you started off, you said, with the video games, and I know what you do. So you're into the gaming. Is that a main focus of yours, or is it kind of like a hobby?
It's kind of it's kind of both. So my job is I sell retro video games. I co-own a retro video game store. So we sell everything from Atari 2600 up until the new stuff. As long as like Blu-rays, DVDs, we even got some like hobby kits and model sets and stuff like that in there. So it's kind of this whole like family orientated store, but the heart of it, I mean, is video games. So I've always played video games. I've always enjoyed like retro video games and stuff like that. I mean, am I like a super avid gamer? I don't know, because I play a lot of stuff that people don't. So like I don't play Call of Duty. I don't play any of those games really. I spend hundreds of hours playing Elden Ring and like Dark Souls and stuff like
You're
that.
more of a fantasy type oriented video game guy.
Anything that I can kind of do my own thing in and make my own builds and stuff like that, I think is like cool. So the reason I got so many hours into like the Dark Souls and the Elden Ring stuff is because like there's so many ways you get to play the game. And so like you might beat it, but then well, this time I'm gonna do a mage, or this time I'm gonna do this, and then my brother, my nephew play it too. So we play a lot of stuff together. But yeah, I'm not like as in terms of current stuff too much. Like I'm not like I said, I'm not Call of Duty. I'm not like a lot of new stuff. I play a lot of OG stuff too on top of that.
Right. Well, it's not like you're not unaware of what's out there in the new hemispheres and what looks. Because I mean, we've talked a few times, and you well, at least on the art department, you and Odin or somebody, you guys be talking video games, and I'll just be sitting there like left out of the conversation because but it's sometimes it's current things, and so that's really cool too. But yeah, so you're more into the like. You can create your own, you're flexing your creative muscle, you're creating like your own look and your own adventure in a way by doing what you want in these open world games. Call of Duty is more like, hey, let's go get the bad guy, we're a team, let's do it. Like that's pretty much the end of it. It's not like, let's explore this cave to see if we can get like a knife with a +2 vorpal. Like, it's not as in depth, I would say. So I'm more into the fantasy stuff too, and I do like the, you could, because with those games, like you said, you can create and customize things. Like you could look like an orc, you can look like however you want, and like those other like first person shooters or whatever, you're kind of set as that one thing. Like you're this, like
and, very
and there's nothing wrong with it, but
it's very Twitch based gameplay too. Like it's very very twitchy. It's very. I try every once in a while, I'll be like, all right, well, let me get into it, and then I've tried a bit, and I just can't. Like the latest Call of Duty was fun because we were playing the DMZ mode, which is like where you play as teams, but also against AI and other players.
I think I think Bar plays that on his channel every now and then.
And we've played together. We've played together a couple times, and it was fun. But then it's like I just bought Call of Duty 2, and then here's Call of Duty 3. I'm like, well, I'm not going to spend another $70. I just bought this 6 months ago, man. Like,
right. Well, dude, and that's that's the thing with Call of Duty. It's kind of like the latest iPhone. It's like, it's the new one. Is it really all that different? Like, do I have to get it? Not really. Like there might be a feature here and there that you could play, but overall, in the scheme of things, is it very different? Don't know.
Well, I mean, so you're gonna have a quality issue when you're dropping stuff every year. It used to be the Call of Duty's coming out, and it was like, whoa, it was a freaking event. Now it's like, oh, another one. Okay, big deal. So I don't know. The more graphically intense these games get, and the more I feel like AAA stuff is really slacking in terms of having stuff done. Like Starfield, I felt was dog shit.
Yeah, I remember you. I remember you, dude. I remember it.
I'm so glad I didn't spend $70 on that game.
Hey, what's
up,
Anthony? So you were like. You were into video games younger. Did that get you into comics too? Because you said you kind of bounced in and out a little bit, I think. So
the comics, I was a young kid, so like any young kid, into comics and Nintendo.
What kind of comics like caught your eye or drew your attention? Was it the Marvel X-Men stuff, or was it like more like the Disney stuff?
Probably X-Men eventually. So I remember the first two comics that I can remember off the top of my head. So my dad, we'd go to like the White Hen Pantry, which is like a 7-Eleven that was, up there in Chicago and stuff. And we'd go to the park, and we'd go play at the park. And then, we'd go and play Double Dragon, because back then arcades were everywhere.
Yeah.
We'd go play Double Dragon, me and my dad, and then I'd buy a comic book. And then the first comic book that I bought was an Alf comic book.
I have I might be the one that I have. I have an Alf comic book.
It's where he joins it's a spoof of the X-Men.
I don't know if it's that one. I don't know.
Oh,
Really?
it's a spoof of the
Cool.
X-Men, and everybody has like Alf in it. And it's called. He's like, oh, and the cover is like, I'm leaving to start my own group, Alpha Flight, but it's spelled with Alf.
Spell it out. Yeah, I don't have that one. That's great.
Is there
And the only
cats
thing
that are in concern of being eaten?
it was like, I'm trying to think. The one thing I remember the most is that Cyclops was still sad that Jean Grey was dead. That instead of shooting lasers, he'd shoot snot out of his nose because he was crying all the damn time.
Oh, jeez, dude. That's
No, that is so sad. Was it
Yeah.
was it Alpha Flight? He just did.
It was just called Alf, but like I said, the joke on the cover was like, "I'm leaving to start my own group, Alpha Flight," and this is featuring the X-Men.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh,
See, I love that. See, that's what I love, and I do ask, like, generally when I ask people how you got into comics, it's almost always it's a similar but different story every time, and I love it. You know, it's usually like, hey, I was doing this with my dad, or I was out, you know, riding my bike with my friend, and then all of a sudden I saw this rack and this cover thing art, bam, it hit me. Like, but like, you know, it's always like you play Double Dragon, then you go in your first. You remember a lot of people, surprisingly, a lot of people remember their first comic. They really do. It's kind of, I don't know. It's just one of those things, especially with comic books in general. It's an odd thing to collect. It's an odd thing to get into. It's not really like the norm. Most kids are into sports and stuff like that. So to stay involved in it is why. Like, I can see if you bought a few here and there, and then, you know, after like 4 or 5 years, you're like, oh, you got into baseball and you just grew out of comics. Like, you probably wouldn't remember at that point. But because we love this medium so much, it just sticks in our head, that memory of what we did. So that's really cool. So yeah, so you got into the Alpha Flight stuff, or the Alpha Flight, the Alf. You got into Alf first, so that kind of introduced you then maybe to the X-Men because the story was about the X-Men.
Yeah, and I think that's why I got it because
it's the gateway.
It talked about the X-Men. Yeah, it was published by Marvel, and I think it was Star. It was their offshoot, Star, at the time. So they were like, you know, oh, this is featuring the X-Men. And then the other story that was on it was Spider-Ham. So it had Alf and it had Spider-Ham. So it was 2 stories.
Oh, cool.
But I think, honestly, like, even thinking as far back as I can remember, I mean, my dad would like buy the Savage Sword of Conan. And then my dad was drawing too. Like, I grew up around Savage Sword of Conan. He would, I mean, I had like, hey,
what's up, Frank?
Frazetta books. I grew up looking at Frazetta books. You know, I stole one of the Frazetta books from him that I have here on my bookshelf, you know, and it's like it's the one we grew up with. That and I think Chris Achellos, he had like Beauty and the Beast book, which was by Chris Achellos, which had a bunch of nudie women in it. Was super high fantasy stuff in it as well. I think, you know, it was amazing. And that's what I grew up looking at. Like,
right. Dude, really good stuff to grow up looking at, actually, as far as like art goes. You know what I mean? And inspiration, which is funny. You mentioning Frazetta and stuff like that, because your style is not Frazetta. You know what I mean? Like it's not. I'm not saying it's bad. I love your style, but it's that's why I also was like, hey, maybe you started off with Disney or something, because, you know, just seeing how you draw and how clean you are, and just, you know, what you gravitate towards. It's really cool to hear you were actually at first, like, you know, seeing the stuff that you saw was more reality based or high fantasy based. The fantasy makes sense with what you do, but yeah, so it's really, so you started off with X-Men and stuff, and you said you dipped out of it for a while. Was it just because you lost interest, or?
Yeah, I think once I got into high school and stuff, I kind of lost interest. Because even when I was collecting with my brother, like, so I got an older brother, and my dad would take us first. It started going to like the White Hand Pantry, like the 7-Eleven, and every week we'd go and we'd buy a comic book. So my brother would buy Wolverine, and then I would buy the Ninja Turtles comic, the Ninja Turtles Adventure, which was based on
the cartoon one,
on the cartoon. So I'd read my Ninja Turtles, and then I would read Wolverine, right? Or at that time I think they're doing X-Men Classics, so they were reprinting the John Byrne stuff. So it was like, you know, I would get my cartoon stuff, but then also read Wolverine at the same time. Not so you were getting half of it.
Yeah, you were getting like double dose though. But you may not have been you know, getting the gist of everything, but you still were getting the influence of the style, like from Marvel. So you were collecting like the 2 kind of hemispheres of things. Like you're hitting a double dose. That's really
Mhm.
cool, man. What's up, Brian? Good to see you, man. And by the way, everybody, if you're watching and you don't want to listen to any of this, you just want to check out what JBOT does. His YouTube channel is in the top of the chat and linked in the description below. So go there, give him a
But stick around.
subscribe. Stick around though. Listen to what he might have to say. Maybe he'll teach us all a thing or two about how to do
Yeah.
clean artwork because it's disgusting. So you like I kind of got out of comics in I don't know around like my early 20s. You get into it's just more or less going out, hanging out with people your age. The things that
Adulting
20-year-olds.
happens.
Yeah, things 20-year-olds do. You know what I mean? Like so stuff like that happens, but. I kind of got back into it later on. How far of a gap did you maybe have in between, like, because you probably played video games the entire time? I mean, they're video games. We all
video
grew up
games
with it,
and drawing the whole time.
Yeah.
The comics and the drawing kind of came hand in hand, and the video games always the three kind of made this trifecta that I kind of was always involved in, and always did. The first thing I think I remember drawing was like really trying to draw was I was looking at the John Byrne X-Men Dark Phoenix saga. With Wolverine after he gets separated and he's on the cover like lifting the Hellfire Club dudes like with his claws. I was like, oh cool. And then I would sit there and I would copy them. I didn't trace them, but I would copy them.
Like you'd look at it and you draw it.
I'd look at it and draw it and as close as I could get.
That's what I did with the Turtles. Like that's kind of how I first started drawing too. It was with the Turtle trading cards. I would look at the Turtle trading cards and I'd draw them a little bit bigger. I'd look at it and look at it, and then I would have my dad Xerox them at his work and copy them, and I'd sell them at my school for like 5 cents a pop or something.
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, but you weren't tracing it, but you were looking at it, and it develops your own style when you do that. Like it helps your hand and eye coordination, your movement, and your muscle memory whenever you do stuff like that. So your first stuff was actually doing it with John Byrne though. So that's really cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, that's dope, dude. And like you said, you were first like in the Turtles, you're getting that cartoony feel, which, like I said, your style itself, like the backdrop, some people can see some of it, what you do. Very cartoony looking. Were you into cartoons your whole life, or like is that just something that just happens to be how you draw?
I think, yeah. I mean, I always watched cartoons. It was something that was always there. And then I think in the mid 90s, once I like found out like what anime was, even before it was like, I mean, we're talking like 93.
Yeah.
My old man, we went to Blockbuster. My old man was like, yeah, look at this animation. And I was like, oh, cool. But it's like, it's not for kids. My dad's like, ah, fuck that, man. Go ahead and rent it.
Okay. And there you go. Like you and I have talked like we kind of have books based off of this, like all ages. Like we say all ages. Now we grew up in a different time frame when that definition of all ages was sometimes a little more violent.
It was. This said not for kids. Like it had.
Don't get me wrong, dude. Akira, not for kids. Vampire Hunter D, not for kids. But even still, like stuff like Spider-Man, like Spider McFarlane Torment series, Spawn, like that. Really, it's not for kids. But we were still 12 or 13, reading it, looking at it, like at a younger age. But it's not like we're traumatized. It's not like we went out on doing mayhem everywhere and causing mischief and harm to people. It's like we knew it was fantasy. Kids are smarter than people give them credit for.
You have good parents. You have good parenting.
Well, also a good sense of reality. Like watching cartoons. There you go. Bugs Bunny gets an anvil dropped on, or Coyote gets an anvil dropped on his head. We don't think, oh no, what happened to the coyote? These real coyotes? No, we know it's fantasy.
Yeah,
like, even at a young age. Yeah, so when you're drawing like your ideas and your concept, and I understand sometimes you do want to hold back a bit because if you want a super young audience, don't get Spawn. But for somebody who's like early teens, maybe even a little younger, like 12, 11, I think they can handle stuff that is a little harsher in violence. Now, I separate the line at sexuality. I kind of think that should that's 18 and over, or legally discretionary. So. Yeah, but I think the violence part of it, to a degree, can be all ages. To a degree, like Brothers Grimm, stuff like that.
Yeah. They always. I feel like I remember like kid stuff always kind of had a edge to it.
More stuff.
You know what I mean? Like Never Ending Story, or like Secret of Nim, or like hell, like I grew up watching Fire and Ice. Like
Exactly, dude. And dude, you just mentioned like 2 titles you mentioned there alone. Also, though, Never Ending Story, dude, that horse dying.
yeah.
Dude, that's
Oh,
traumatic,
I will
man.
never
Like
see that movie
every
because
kid,
of that.
was traumatized by that when they
Mm.
saw it at first, our ages anyway.
Yeah.
So, and it's just, yeah, it's like some of this stuff still had hardcore elements to it,
Yeah.
but still for
Oh,
kids.
Yeah. Even
Pedro,
like Little
saying,
Monsters. Like you ever see
Yeah.
Little Monsters
Oh yeah, dude.
with Fred
Fist of the North Stars,
Savage
obviously,
and
yeah.
fucking sorry, what the hell is it? Freaking Howie Mandel?
oh,
Oh yeah.
Like
Yep.
that's crazy, dude. Like
It's
I
a
saw it
crazy
like 5
movie,
years
dude.
ago. I was like, dude, this was for kids. Like even I was like, whoa, bro. Like, hold on.
What's Pedro saying here, Angela?
oh, he's saying First of the North Star is obviously for kids. Ome, speaking in Japanese, I mean, Ome wa shinduri.
Omewa
I tried.
Shiru.
And then in the Facebook, Frank is saying, "Good Joe." Okay, oh, you guys, come on, English, come on.
G.I. Joe.
Is it G.I. Joe?
Yeah, that's G.I.
Oh,
Joe.
It's no space.
Jeez,
no,
Angela.
okay, please do not clip that. Transformers, they were killing each other, and yeah, so
Yeah, exactly. And we were all watching now, and that's the thing. They were
wash it down.
robots or even G.I. Joe. Well, if you watch the cartoon G.I. Joe, like they would shoot them, the thing would blow up and they'd parachute out, like, oh, they're safe.
Yeah.
But dude, even Batman the animated series, the Batman's throwing people off of a moving, speeding bullet train.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, they land in bushes. Like that dude's dead. Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
There you go.
Sure.
So, like, there is a separation that I think that we had of fantasy and reality that we knew about that I think parents are coddling and or taking it for granted. I'm not a parent. I'm just speaking. I'm not. Don't yell at me about these things. But I just think some parents are like, oh, don't watch that. It's a little, or don't read that. It's a little too. It's like they know it's fantasy. They know it's not real. If they see
Yeah.
a rabbit punching a dog.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like a human form, they're like, oh, well, this is fake. This isn't real. And
Oh my God.
parents usually do talk to their kids about, hey, violence is bad. Real violence is wrong. Don't do it. I don't know, man. So you have a child. You have a tiny human. Like
I do.
you can interject and be like, Jason, you're full of it. Shut up. I mean, what are your viewpoints on it?
There's always a gauge that, like, what I found out that sometimes, like, I don't know what it is, but something in your brain will click and be like, oh, that's a little bit too much. Like, okay.
Right.
Like, she watched the new Ninja Turtles movie, The Mutant Mayhem.
Mhm.
Tons of like fart jokes and whatever. A little bit weird with the milking stuff constantly.
Okay.
I was like, like I don't know about that, but that's the only kind of thing that made me uncomfortable. But everything else was fine. I mean, there really wasn't that much like violence or whatever. And so she had a blast and she loved the movie. Like,
right.
But she's like, I want to watch it again. I was like, I don't know if I'd have you watch it again, just because the weird milking stuff was like.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
I'm drawing actually the new Turtles now for a thing, but I'm just not a fan of like a couple of the changes that they made, like the do-rag.
Yeah.
Don't like the do-rag. I don't get it.
Everybody looks different, which is cool, but God, people are so fucking ugly, man. Like. So like I get the mutants, but the people look like mutants too, and I'm just like, yikes, dude.
Are the people all like the people that look like mutants? Are they bad? Are these bad people?
I mean, well, no, I mean just the people in general. Everybody is ugly. Any human, you talk about April, and April's like, oh man, everybody looks like April in the movie, man. Any human looks like freaking April.
Oh, no.
They all look malformed, creepy faces. Like, I'm like, man, dude, why they look everybody?
Do you think maybe they did that because that's kind of funny, silly Billy? You know what I mean? Like it's possible. I don't know.
Maybe, but it just was like it was horrible to look at after a while. Like the Ninja Turtles looked the coolest out of everybody.
I would say the Simpsons are ugly. So maybe wonder if the Simpsons, maybe that's kind of the thing. They're just kind of trying to make people just looking just kind of.
I don't know. Marge can be hot sometimes.
That hair.
Yeah, it's
got that hair.
Yeah, it was a little bit too much in terms of like the people. Like I said, the mutants look kind of cool, but the people are ugly as all a sin too. You're like, God, like they just beat the crap out of everybody with ugly stick in the movie.
Right.
But it was okay. It was all right.
Facebook, he's saying the animation style is ugly in general. They are trying to style after Spider-Verse. Badly. Trent Reznor did the score. That's the best part. So.
Yeah, I guess I could see that them trying to stylize it after. It came out after Spider-Verse? Yeah,
It did.
So
Yeah, it did.
So I could see them maybe trying to attempt that or do that. And Billy Basco, a great colorist, him and I were actually talking about the Turtles last night and about change and how they're trying to reboot, but reboot well is what I say. If you're gonna reboot, first off, you don't need to reboot usually. Like I understand, like he made a good point. Turtles from the initial Eastman and Laird, the hyper violent, just crazy Turtles. From there to the cartoon, major reboot, huge reboot. But they still kept core elements that were the same. But there was still a major reboot. So if you were a huge fan of the comics, and you started watching the cartoon, you were like, what is this crap? I remember them killing the Foot Clan and destroying blood everywhere because they're human. Now they're robots. Dumb. So I can understand you being upset about that. But if you first got into, now we're using the Turtles as an overall example, but if you first if you got into the Turtles with the cartoon, still hyper violent, but they're fighting robots. And I was a kid watching that and them fighting robots. And I also still knew, hey, even if they were stabbing people, this is a cartoon, it's not real. So it's just like, I understand that and people of the old generation getting mad about it. So just like this one, I'm not very happy with the way they changed April. I'm not happy with the do-rag crap that Raph's got, or the missing tooth, which I don't get. So it just, some of it doesn't make any sense to me. I haven't seen the movie yet. I've just seen the images for references, but
yeah, it's okay. And reboots for the Turtles don't bother me because of the whole Turtleverse. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Each thing exists in its own. They're the first to do it.
Right.
Honestly, it exists in its own multiverse. So even though this Mutant Mayhem came out, it's its own thing compared to like the 90s, compared to like the 80s, or the 2000s and the movies. Those are all based on their own. They're all separate.
That's why they're all separate. And well, I mean, like I said, it's separate, but also it is look at, dude, they're going to remake Highlander. Why? Like the first movie is really good. You don't need to remake Highlander. You don't need a reboot of the franchise.
It's
but at the same time, what's that, Angela?
It's lazy. It's like, come up with a new idea.
It is, but
cool though. I'm all for it.
That's what I say. But I do like Henry Cavill. I like the Cavilliers. I like him. Yeah. So we'll see what. Yeah, we'll see how he does. We'll see how he does. But it's not a movie that needs. Dude, if they remade like The Secret of Nim, I'd be mad. I'd be like, that movie is perfect. You don't need to do that. That animation is amazing. The Great Owl. Stuff like it's just really cool.
Yeah.
No need to be redone, but they do a lot of these remakes and reboots, so to speak, because they don't have any other ideas. Like Big Trouble in Little China, they're not rebooting it. But there's going to be like a sequel. I think it's like a soft reboot. It's like a sequel, but it has The Rock in it, but they still reference the original.
Oh, ew. Fuck that. Why don't they just get his
son?
What's
up, Shelby? What's going on?
Just get freaking Wyatt Russell to be his kid.
Hey, Rachel. Or just don't do it.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to do a sequel,
just don't do it.
You got freaking Wyatt Russell. Just have Wyatt Russell be whatever, Jack Burton Jr. Dude,
right,
and take it from there. Like, all right.
Or hey, if you guys don't have any more ideas, do what you've been doing. Tap into novels, tap into comics, and get the creative team, the people that came up with the idea, on helm to be like, make sure it has quality. Look at Reacher. Reacher's really good. Reacher the Amazon show Reacher, because it has the writer maintaining everything. Like, it's a good show. I don't see the problem. I don't see why this is so complicated.
Shelby saying he heard that Russell is playing Jack again in the sequel.
But it doesn't need to be done, Shelby.
Yeah.
You don't need to have it, is the whole thing. So
I want them both. I want Jack Burton and Wyatt.
I want them to remake Never Ending Story and not kill the horse, and then I'll watch it.
No, they got to kill the horse in the never. You need to be traumatized.
He doesn't really die. He comes back because he saves the book.
Okay.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. What name does he yell out at the end of that?
Oh, I don't remember.
Nobody knows. Like, that's what he does. Like, nobody knows what.
They probably made it that way.
I think they did it on purpose so you can insert your own name that you would have him yell out.
Is it Moonchild?
Is it Moonchild? Is that what they yell out?
Dustin is saying Arturo.
Atreyu.
Yeah, Atreyu's the horse.
Atreyu.
That's a badass name, dude.
That's an awesome name,
That's
dude.
a badass name.
Now, hey, do you have trouble coming up with names? Because especially now with so many titles out there, things like that. Like, because you like Berserker, it's pretty clever. Like, so do you have trouble coming up with names?
It depends. Sometimes not. I mean, I'm still trying to find out a name for the rabbit that I'm working on, the kind of Disney homage that I'm doing to Oswald and the steampunk silly. I call him Ozzy, but I don't like it. Like I don't like the name.
Well, while you're here, I mean, let's show some of that. Pull up some stuff. What do I have? I see you're sharing your screen, so I'm gonna share it. Is that cool? You want me to
go for it. This is what I popped up. So I wanted to share this. This is going to be the cover for the Berserker Ash Can.
Oh, look at that.
So I just have my wife's going to put the logo at the top. But yeah, this is the cover. It was colored by Big Boy Robo, and he did the all the colors and stuff for me. So the book itself is going to be black and white, but I want to have a neat cover.
It's nice to have a colored cover. It is.
Yeah.
Now this cover,
he killed it. He killed it.
He did. He did. Now I'm printing 100 of these. This cover, this is it. Like after that, this cover ain't gonna be printed again on the. Maybe I'll do a pin up or something of that later. But in terms of like being on the book as the cover, this is it. The first run's gonna have this cover, and then everything after this gonna have a different cover. So
nice. Yeah, I got to make sure I get one. Or you set one aside for me.
Yeah.
No, go ahead, Angela.
No, I'm just excited with your idea on how you're going to roll out this book and get it funded and whatnot. So
you're taking a different approach than most of us. Most of us are going like Indiegogo, Kickstarter, and stuff like that. You're doing it. What?
Sorry, somebody suggested Fufu. It's the name of the bunny, by the way. I wanted to say it before it left. Little bunny Fufu.
Little funny food. That is actually pretty clever. So you're going a different approach though, rather than going the crowdfunding route. In that regard, you're just hardcore printing 100, right, and selling them. See, I like that. It gives it a limited collectability, but also it gets your foot in the door as far as printing goes and like how to handle that stuff.
This is the test run. Is pretty much what I'm doing. I'm using this to like, okay, how much it's gonna cost? Let me try and fulfill everything. You know what I mean? So this is the prototype. Pretty much is what's going on going forward. And
now do you have? Oh no! Sorry to interrupt.
I see the crowdfunding stuff and I get it, but I don't. You know what I mean? I want to have something in hand too, so I'm more excited to just get it printed in my hands.
Well, not only that, doing it that way, like because you're doing ash can size, right? 8.5 by 5.5. Yeah. So it's a little more cost effective, but at the same time, the way you're doing it, you can. It's not cheap. You can like do it. It'll hit your wallet, but selling them. You're gonna get more of the profit. Like you're not gonna have Indiegogo take 10%. You know what I mean? Right. So like you're gonna print them and then sell them. You might have like a PayPal charge of like what they take 3%. I don't even know.
Whatever.
Whatever, dude. But you're not going through like Striper, like the paying services where they're taking a harder cut. You're gonna net more of the profit, which is good because you could put that back into whatever next project you're working on. So it's more of a recycling process. So that's nice. And to help recoup expenses, obviously.
Absolutely.
Doing the way you're doing it is actually very risky, but very cool. It's like very indie, and I like that. You know, I love the indie stuff. So this is the featured cover, which is going to have that Berserker logo that Matt Barr did. So it's going to be dope. Going to be fire. Do you have like any? What else do you have to show us, man? Let me see some more of your goody goodness. By the way, crisp. Your lines, crispness, like you're so neat and precise. It drives me insane, dude. I'm like, I hate it. I hate it.
So we added. Did I do this one? Yeah. So we're adding the gore back. I was kind of flip flopping on it.
Oh, you put it back. Well, this is why I brought up.
Back.
This is why I brought up the all ages thing as well. So go ahead.
So we're adding the gore back on it. I mean,
did we talk about the blood color sometime? I can't remember.
I think we did. I did post it on there, and then I then for a second I got rid of it, and then my wife was like, "Well, what do you want to do? Like, what was the original vision?" And I was like, "This is what I had," and she's like, "Just then do it." And I was like, "Okay." Right. So it was gonna be all ages, but I don't know. It's gonna be probably 12 and up, 10 and up, something like that, or whatever. All the blood's gonna be black in it. You know, it's gonna be like ink, like black ink, like this. So we're adding the blood back in.
See, and okay, that you just brought up a good point. I consider all ages to be like 10 and up. Like that's what I consider all ages because to me, not too many like 8-year-olds. Like they're more into like, kitty kid stuff that they're gonna buy like toys or trinkets and stuff that usually aren't out for comics.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of why I say all ages. But this to me, yeah, a 10-year-old could pick this up, 11-year-old could pick it. It's black and white, like it's not red blood. Even if it was colored, you had it be a different color. It breaks away from that reality that it separates it, and that's the good thing.
Yeah, there's no people in the book. There's no humans in the book. Even when I started working on the actual novel, I mean, we saved a little girl. But besides that, it's all he's just fighting monsters. And for a guy, if it's called Berserker and he has an axe, you can't tiptoe around it, to be honest.
Right.
So it's like,
and I remember Billy did want the blood back in there. I mean, I just wanted you to do what your wife told you. I wanted you to do what you wanted to do. I understood why you took it out at first. If that's what you wanted to do to appeal to a demographic, do it. But you wanted it this way. Mm-hmm. This is and that's what I'm all for. I'm like, I do what I want to do, and I hope other people like it. If people don't like it, I mean, I'm sorry. I'm not going to change the way I do things to fit your it's my idea. It's not your idea. I hope you like my idea. I really do. If you have input about my idea, I'd love to hear it. Love to hear criticism, critique, whatever it may be. Like being backstage or us hanging out on art department while we're drawing. We talk about, hey, you got a tangent there. Hey, you did this. It's a critique. It's a criticism, but it's positive criticism to help you fix it. You know what I mean? So I'm all for that. I remember I posted something on Twitter one day, an image of Absolute, and somebody was like, this is cool, but I think this is just a random person, didn't even know who they were. They're like, if you put a reflection in this part, I think it would look really cooler. They were right. Mm-hmm. Like, they were right. So sometimes getting that feedback is important. It's pivotal. Not everything that people say that's negative is negative.
Yeah.
So like Billy saying, look, I really liked it with the blood in there, with the black in there. It's not negative, but it's a positive negative. It's like, hey, I don't like what you did. I liked it the other way, but it's still cool. Mm-hmm. And this is dope. I love this. I remember this. It's really cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So we put the blood back in. I think I got 3 or 4 more pages left to do. It's going to be horizontal format. So the cover is vertical, but the book itself is going to be horizontal format. So you're look at it, then you're going to turn it, you're going to open it like Garfield. It's going to open it, that way. So
Chad Townsend did that with Kid Squid.
Yeah, with Kid Squid. So it was nice to see it because it's like, oh, this is what it's going to look like. So I'm stoked.
Well, with an ash can, that's a better idea to do as well because it gives you more real estate.
I've never seen a horizontal ash can.
I've never seen a horizontal ash can either. They're usually vertical. So it's a smart move. It's a smart play. Because at that point, you're drawing on a regular sheet of paper. Like your comic is a regular sheet of paper size at that point. So
yeah,
it's smart.
Kind of warn people too. It's going to be more like there's no word bubbles. It's going to be kind of narration on it. And then it's going to be pretty much a picture, a page. So it's not going to be a bunch of little pictures. It's going to be one picture. Like what we're looking at here is a page. This is a page. It's bigger than what I'm showing here, but this is a page.
Right.
And I decided when I do the actual book, it's going to be an illustrated novel. So you're going to have the words on one side and then you're going to have the art on the other page, but it's going to be kind of collaged like.
And I like that. Like Trent Kanuga, I think, did that with Twilight Monk. He did like a page in the narrative page, and that's really cool. It tells more of the story, and you get to see like a scene from it or something. And it's really innovative in a way because it's not really being done all that much these days. So I like that. It's really cool. Now that's for the full on. That's the full on book though. That's not the ash can. That's the book. Just so people know.
So this is a page. This is another page that I'm working on as well.
Yeah, look at that.
I did not like him for some reason. He looked so weird. Like he looked so weird to me. So I'm reworking it because I'm like, well, he's Berserker. Let's have him doing some Berserk stuff. So yeah, he's ripping the skeleton in.
Hey, some person. No, I don't think. I think it's dope.
Was there any influence from Berserker that is in this book, or is it more just the name that you were kind of having fun with? I mean, just not to give the plot away, but
no, just the name, pretty much, because it was the idea.
I love it.
That's cool. Teddy bears. My daughter loves stuffies. She always sleeps with a stuffed animal. She has like freaking I don't know, man. I don't even know put them. It's just so many stuff, llamas and bears and turtles and all types of stuff. And she always sleeps with them. So the idea came from like, okay, like the idea that the premise of the book, in case nobody knows, and we'll give the kind of the elevator pitch is
hey, good stuff.
A nightmares come into our realm and they steal the soul of a little girl. Berserker's owner. So he has to travel into the nightmare realm to bring her soul back before dawn. Because if she stays there after dawn, her soul's stuck there forever. But when in our world, he's a teddy bear. But when he enters the nightmare realm, he becomes the Berserker. So the idea was like, my daughter always sleeps with teddy bears. So it's like, hey, what if the teddy bears or what if the stuffed animals would protect you, keep the nightmares away? They fight the nightmares away. So that's kind of where the idea came from. So in our world, he's just a ratty old teddy bear. His name is Old Bear, is what we call him in the story, because she found him at a thrift store. And he's a ratty old bear, and he's missing an eye. Like the teddy bear is missing an eye, so that's why he's missing an eye as Berserker. Yeah, because the teddy bear is missing an eye. So.
Nice.
So he's fighting nightmares to bring her soul back.
So if her soul stays trapped there, her body remains in the reality realm, but it's just like a empty carcass.
It's like a coma. She's in a coma, then, pretty much.
Ooh, that's pretty gnarly, dude.
Yes.
That's dark.
Yeah.
That's deep. But see, that's never ending story. The horse dies. You know what I mean? Like that's a little dark. So there's some darkness to, stuff that kids have to, will sometimes go. It's also good to have them learn these things early on. Like you get a dog, the dog gets something happens to it, it passes away. The kid like, oh, it's terrible. It's tragic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Seeing a kid cry like that because of the loss of an animal. I mean, I've seen it. It's awful. You want to do something, you can't. But it's a lesson they kind of got to learn. It's sad, and like this is like not a harsh lesson as that, but it's like, oh, this can like your soul, like that's like it's a harsh lesson.
Yeah,
I like it.
So, this is kind of what they look like.
That's scary looking.
Yeah, when they enter our world,
So what like you mentioned anime, like is this kind of because this is kind of like a Ghibli looking type character here. Like is that kind of an influence of the stuff that you really
probably.
Looked into? Yeah.
Probably.
I don't know a whole lot about anime. Like you and I kind of did. I'm not. I know a little about a little. So, but I know like this reminds me a little bit of like a Ghibli type thing or something, like whatever that.
Yeah,
is.
so I grabbed the masks are kind of a reoccurring theme in this realm. Because I mean, nightmares can manifest in all types of different realms. So just because this one is like this doesn't mean that you go to another nightmare realm that the nightmares are going to look the same, or the rules are going to be the same, or it's even going to be a fantasy setting. It could be look like downtown Detroit. We don't know. You know what I mean? It's whatever however the nightmares manifest themselves. So this one just happens to. I think centipedes are kind of creepy. So
centipedes are creepy, dude. There's a lot of different kinds of them. So they're especially if you get those ones that get in your house for like the carpet centipedes or whatever they are, and then you see them moving around like crazy. You're like, that's a freaky looking.
Too many legs, man. Too many legs.
Yeah, too many legs, dude. Stay away. So. How many issues do you have planned for this? Is it like going to be an overall, like, is it going to be a long lasting thing? You have like, hey, I'm going to do four books because it's a book with illustration. So are you have like a lot of books in mind, or are you just going to see what happens and come as you go?
Kind of see what happens. The idea is to do one book of Berserker, and then tell the story of Berserker that I have to tell, and then that'll be it. Now, for the premise. There could be multiple books, but as for Berserker's adventure, I would like to just do one book, but I don't want it to be a thin book. I want it to be, I want it to be a nice, thick book. Is what I would like it to be.
What's that?
You have like a J-verse.
Oh gosh,
J-verse.
Oh god, no.
There's so many. I think the thing everyone's got their own.
Listen, Graham Nolan
everyone's got their own universe. Dude, that's why I say like absolute is not a universe. It's like it's character driven. Yeah. But this could be. See, this is where the reason why I asked is like, and what you said. This couldn't be like necessarily like a universe as much as just like character driven, because you can have different stuffed animals come to life in different scenarios with different like people, whatever it may be, and different like envision it kind of like the Crow. There's not just Eric Draven. There's other crows, so
it doesn't necessarily have to be a stuffed animal either.
Right.
Nice.
See,
yeah.
No,
so it could lead to other books,
Indian in the
which is
cupboard.
cool.
Yes,
Indian in the cupboard. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You know, so there's other other aspects and things that I have to do that are maybe the style or something that it takes place in will not look like this. It might look like something totally different.
And the way you work, it's actually pretty cool. You usually draw it out traditionally first, and then right? How do you do it?
I do a layout, so I'll do a layout, and then the more I've been going in the book, the sloppier they've been getting. But I'll do a real rough layout of where I want everything to be, and then I'll just pretty much take a picture, import that picture into Procreate, and then just do my digital pencils over it, and then do digital links over it. Pretty much.
See, that's so cool, man. I love that. Because it's you can even do that if you're on the road or whatever have you. You know what I mean? Because you don't need a scanner at that point. You're just taking a photo and I think that's dope, man. I can't do that. I mean, I have an iPad with Procreate on it, and so I love Procreate, but I'm kind of stuck at my computer here with my Photoshop and my scanners and printing things out and then inking them and stuff like that. So I really like that. What materials do you use usually, though? Because I mean, you still also draw full on traditional. So what materials do you utilize whenever you're doing traditional work?
Usually, I'm just doing pencils and inks. Usually just pencils and inks.
What kind of you use? Felt tip? What do you use?
Lately I've been using micro, like microns or multi-liners, but then I've been really digging these Furunosuke's the Tombow brush tips.
Oh yeah. Playgirl likes the Tombos.
Yeah, I've been liking the soft one a lot, so I've been using that to do, because it has a little bit of bounce to it. So when you're doing lines and stuff, you can really. Because
I remember you sparking some interest in pen and ink and brushwork. Have you played with that a little more at all, or
I haven't. Yeah, no, I haven't, not yet, because I really want to get the right equipment. I bought like a little set from Michael's or Hobby Lobby for something.
Yeah, it works.
And I didn't like it. So I'm like, okay, I don't know what I got, but I want to get this is the brush. This, I want to get into it, but I want to have the right materials.
I could send you a couple of things from Amazon.
Yeah. If you send me, and I'll grab that and I'll mess around with it because I might not be using the right paper. I might not be,
Oh yeah, no, and it does depend on paper and stuff like that. And I don't expect you to remember any of this, or I don't know if chat even cares about any of this. I know, I like the Hunt 102 nib. I know Frega loves the 104. I can never get that thing to work to save my life, so I don't know how he does it. Shelby loves the 500 series Bristol Strathmore pads. I'm not big a fan of them. I like the 300. I like the vellum ones, but Smoothworks too. So there is a lot of things that go into there, like. Luke Alietta, Death Metal Hero, hit him up for the type of brush that he uses because it's so clean and crispy as a Raphael. Nice. He's great with his brush strokes with his with pen. Dude, when it comes to inking in that regard, like those tools, it's more or less what you get comfortable with. Like you said, you bought a set at Michael's, you're just like, because it's not really what you were comfortable with. Like the 102 you may hate and you might love the 104. I don't know. You don't know. You don't know until you get into it. You may hate it all together. Like, screw this garbage. I'm going into microns, which I love using as well. So yeah.
And I'm weird though. Like, I don't like using Bristol paper, like Bristol board and stuff like that. I like using copy paper.
See, yeah, you kind of copy paper with pen and ink is a little trickier. I get it. I get it. Yeah. Plus, copy paper is a lot more affordable, dude.
Yeah, and I have no pressure, I guess. Anytime I pull out a piece of Bristol, I'm like, oh shit, better not fuck this up, man. Oh man.
Dude, okay, look at it this way all the time. One Bristol has two. You know what I mean? Because if you mess up one side, just flip it over.
Yeah.
And you just go to town. I've sold so many pieces that have drawings on the back of them because I screwed them up, and I flipped it over. People are like, "Oh, there's a drawing on the back of this." It's like, yeah, that's a screw up drawing. I messed up.
It's a bonus.
It's a bonus.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So Berserker's not really your only concept, not your only idea. You got another thing in the bag. You're a creative IP making machine, dude. What else you got for us? Let's see show me what you got.
So after I do this, after I get the Berserker, the Ash Can out, the idea is to do the Steampunk Silly book, which is my homage to early Disney and Fleischer animation. So we have right now his name Ozzy, but I'm probably gonna change the name. But yeah, he's the mechanic of Podunk Port Town, and it gets invaded by Kraken. That's why the title's "Let's Get Kraken."
Nice.
So that's one of the little Krakens on the back of his little Jeep car there. Yeah, all of a sudden they just show up and then they just start freaking eating everything, man. So
Dude,
then the town has to kind of come together to like, okay, how are we gonna stop these guys?
This is like I love it because it's like a modern look to Steamboat Willie style or Fleischer or whatever. It's really clean and crisp. Like it's a little different from the Berserker, but you can still see you. You know what I mean? Like you still see that you did this, but the style is just slightly it's a little different, and I love it, man. So, what made you want to do this one?
Berserker was kind of rooted in the Fleischer style, like when I first started doing it, like, and then it started to evolve kind of away from that. And then, everybody's like, oh, Steamboat Willie. I'm like, well, Mickey Mouse is cool, but I'm an Oswald guy. And so I looked at he was on public domain too, but not that I want to do an Oswald story. I just want to draw a freaking cartoon rabbit because they're fun to draw.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, well, instead of doing the cartoon fix that I want is going to be this book. So that's why once I get Berserker done, the Berserker art is probably drastically going to change for the main book.
How so?
Well, because I want to go, it's probably going to be more. It was always Frazetta influenced, but I think I'm probably going to do more Sam Keith influenced as well.
Hey, we got to talk about. We were going to talk about that too, but go ahead.
Nice.
So and really push like how Sam Keith does the Max, like really push Berserker's anatomy and his form in the actual book. But I want to keep this one the ash can to what the original plan was, so I could finish it because I'm horrible at finishing things. So I'm just like, let's get this book out. Let's get the ash can out, and then we'll jump on a Steampunk Silly. But Steampunk Silly is all ages. That's the idea. Steampunk Silly is something that I want to do all ages that can go in your local LCS that anybody can pick up. Like that's the idea of me doing Steampunk Silly. And I might do it the same way, print them myself, and then you buy them directly from me and maybe even take like a handful of them to my local shop and be like, hey, like you guys want to sell this for me? Like, what do you guys think? Is it good enough? And then at least have it someplace physically as well.
Yeah.
And see what happens. But yeah, this is all ages, pure cartoon fun. Like I said, when I mean all ages, there's not going to be any like guns or anything. I mean, he has a gun that shoots a plunger. You know what I mean? Like that's how crazy we're getting. But that's the fun part of it too, because you really have to use your imagination of how you're gonna solve the problems that he's going to run into. But it's going to be a floppy, probably like 22, 24 pages, something like that. It's going to be black and white.
How much of that do you have finished?
This you're looking at it.
Oh, okay.
Concept stuff too.
Great. I love that.
Right. I was going to say, I thought I've seen you do other stuff though. So let's
I'm messing around with the texture too.
Oh my God.
So good, dude.
I want to have this paper texture, like
we talked about paper.
Have that. So yeah, this is the big Kraken. This is the first preview of the Kraken itself, the giant Kraken. Yeah, that's the idea. If it does well, then I'll make plushes or something, right? Everybody have their own.
Dude.
I am all about the plushies. I'm like, I try so hard. But anyway, this will be fun.
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah. So that's the idea. So this is giving me my cartoon fix. My Fleischer fix that I love to draw and stuff, my iWorks. This is what's going on for me here. And I'm like, cool. So now I was like, all right, I'm getting my fix doing that. So now I can make Berserker, a different.
Right. Yeah. And that's what but it allows you to, sometimes you want, like Frog G in Absolute is the only way I can relate it. Like Frog G is a little more, I guess, kid friendly in a way. I mean, not kid, but like it's a younger audience and stuff like that. It's a little more fantasy element. Like Absolute is more gritty and hard and stuff like that. This gives you a way, and it flexes both of those creative muscles and satisfies those needs. This is good for that. You have Berserker, and then you have this IP where it flexes both of those creative muscles, and it lets you just stretch out and like get more under your belt, and just it satisfies needs.
And that's kind of partly why the reason I wanted to have it out and in my hand, like with the Berserker, because if I'm trying, I almost feel like if I'm trying to like fund something or trying to ask for money for something, I almost have to kind of placate to the audience who I'm trying to get money from. And this way I'm able to be like, this was the original vision that I had as an artist, as hoity-toity as that sounds. Like, this is the idea that I had, and I want to present you not half the idea, not part of I want to present you the full idea so you get the full effect. And if you like it, cool. If you don't, that's fine. But this was my original vision that I had, and that this is what I want to put out.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm kind of doing stuff myself too.
Yeah, and you're gonna have the full thing done. Like with a crowdfunder, most of the time it's not finished because people, most crowdfunders have multiple people on one project, so they need the finances to help pay for the other people that they have on. With this, it's like it's completely finished, and it is all you, so that helps. Well, you have the guy coloring the cover, but which is not a pocket expense, but at the same time, the main thing is all you, so it does help in that regard. But with a crowdfunder, like it's not all finished all the time, which is kind of bad. This is all like your stuff's going to be completely done, and printed. People are going to get it like without a doubt on time. Like it's just like there you go, you have
it.
Yeah, it's not going to go on sale till I have it in my hand. That's the idea. It's like okay, hey guys, books are here. Here it is. I got 100.
Right,
PayPal me, baby. There you go.
Hit me up.
You know, and each one of them on a number and sign. Each
kind of reiterate. Yeah, no, that's cool. I just was thinking again. So it's going to be legit PayPal. There's no website you're going to be going through for people to purchase. Like it's just going to be on the spot, like pretty much like an auction. Except, I mean, obviously it's a flat rate type ordeal, but shipping will be included in that as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
I'm excited. I think this is so cool.
I've been seeing what other people are doing, so I'm probably going to do like $10 shipping and I'm going to ship them in Geminis, and all that stuff is already included in the cost of whatever I'm going to have planned.
Yeah.
So you know, it's going to be ballpark. Knock on wood. We're hoping maybe 15 and then $10 shipping is what we're thinking.
See, that's the thing. The shipping thing is a huge debate amongst everybody. You can't cut that. Like it's so hard to cut that shipping cost because we're not Amazon. We're not big corporations that have business accounts with certain companies or delivery services where we can get a cut rate. We have to pay per product, so it's a lot more expensive for us to do shipping. Like the shipping argument is just a big one, and I feel I back books too. I pay that $10 shipping. I don't like it either, but it's just nothing we can do about it.
I mean, it's going to be bagged. It's going to be boarded. It's going to be
and that's the other thing. There's other costs that go into that shipping as well.
And it's probably going to be U.S. only unless somebody wants to pay me $30 to ship the book to them.
Hey, dude, you never know. Hockey might want you to put one aside though, and when he visits the States again, he can get it. So
yeah, it's true. They have it Australia so much.
Yeah, I love everything you do, man. It's I love the style. I love like I said. Now, you brought it up. Like you're very clean. You brought up Sam Keith, who I love. I mean, he's a huge influence on me. Like very dirty, very gritty, very just like messy. Are your style like? Have you drawn in that like that way, or you can't like? Are you because you're very clean? So
I think I can. So I shared this one once I did this piece.
Yeah, I remember the one you shared before.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, that's it.
And I do see the Sam with the shapes. Nice. You use like Sam uses a lot of shape. It's more or less like he takes a shape and then he molds it the way he wants. And I could see that here. You know what I mean? Definitely see it here. So there is a Sam influence here. I love it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, really pushing the form, his form, and I'm probably gonna take it, even push it farther than this one is in terms of like what he's gonna look like and stuff like that. But if I'm doing each page like a collage, I think it'll be really neat. And that's why I started. I did pick up those Max comic books for my local comic shop. I did.
Finally got them.
I was like, "Hey man, I can't find the Max." He's like, "All right, come here." And the guy took me over there, and he's like, "See, he showed me where."
Yeah, dude, they're so
like, see, it says the Max right here on this tab. I was like, "Oh shit, he has his own section."
Yeah, he's got his own section, dude. Yeah. If you can get it, I highly recommend the Max Artist Edition.
Yeah,
if you can get it, it's expensive.
That's true.
But
I can't find
it.
Oh, okay.
That's right.
Yeah, I have it, dude. It's really good. It's like because you see all of his line work and you see it in 11x17, so it's just it's mind blowing, dude. It's disgusting. So and I love the grit, but like you said and you learned, he plays a lot of it as form and shape. But the thing is also with Sam, he stretches an anatomy that he knows.
And
so
it looks cool.
It looks cool. The rule of cool, dude. I go by the rule of cool. It's not always accurate, but. It looks dope, dude, and this looks dope. So yeah, I love it. I can't wait for something like for this one.
Yeah, is that stuff coming out of his wounds?
Yes, it's
him
stuffing.
doing
He
that.
doesn't bleed.
Yeah, he
Oh,
doesn't
just
bleed. He's just
stuffing.
It's stuffing that comes out.
stuffing.
Yeah.
And then Ink Spots is here. Hey, Ink Spots.
What's up, Ink? Good to see you, man. Colorist of Frog G, co-writer, letterer, and fellow blind painter.
He's writing you from the grave. So
that's right. He's risen from the grave, and what isn't risen from the grave is Berserker.
Old Bear, the dark has taken the child. You must traverse the nightmare realm and bring her soul back before dawn, or she will be trapped there forever. Old Bear, prove.
Why is it looping?
I love that. I love the voice.
It was just playing normal.
That's so cool.
Oh, that was normal?
It was playing normal, yeah. Was it not
didn't
playing
loop?
normal on your side?
No, I thought it played over again. I thought it looped.
No.
Did I cut it early?
You did.
Old Bear, the dark has taken the child. You must traverse the nightmare realm and bring her soul back before dawn, or she will be trapped there forever. Old Bear, prove your worth.
I guess it helps if I just let it play out and not do anything. I never said this was a professional operation, Jay.
Hey, it's all good.
Yeah, so we got your YouTube
cool.
channel. This is what we're because you do a lot on through your YouTube. You know, that's your presence.
Yeah.
Also Twitter, which is also or X. It's Twitter. That's pinned to the on the bottom as well in the description. But yeah, so you tell us what you do on your YouTube, dude.
So pretty much what I would do is I host a weekly show called The Art Department. It's pretty much a bunch of my friends. We get together and we just draw. You can see Jason, you can see Odin Dasco, who did the voice for the Berserker trailer, by the way. He did the voice for me. And then Hockey comes on, and we have whoever else comes on, and usually it's about 2-3 hours sometimes. And we just draw and chat and stuff. Actually, last
one has been on, which has been fun.
Mm-hmm.
Having you there, it's been, you know, a nice addition. So,
and last week we did Attack of the Proms, which we'll do anytime Abra can make it, which that's more like a game show. She'll come up with something for us to draw. We draw it in 45 minutes, and then the chat picks the winner.
As long as someone's timing it, it's 45 minutes.
As long as she wants you to draw, it seems more like so.
It seems like
yeah. I got 5 minutes. How much more? Oh, 10.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun.
What's going on?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Abra's great. Abra's 2 cents on YouTube also. It's fantastic. It's good stuff. Yeah, so everybody, the link for his YouTube is pinned to the top of the chat and in the description below. So click it. Go give Jay a sub. Make sure you hit the bell for all. Like whenever it'll be set to something automatically. Put it to all because that helps you get the notifications of when he goes live or uploads a video, and it helps you see when he gets something out there. So yeah. So now are you also doing videos and shorts eventually, or is it all going to be like a live stream type platform?
I've done a few shorts and then time lapse stuff as well. But lately I've been just working on Berserker. Right. I don't want to give that too much away. I mean, honestly, to be honest, I mean, I don't care. But as its own videos, I don't want to do. But if I'm streaming and we're working on stuff, then I'll work on it on live stream, which I don't mind. But any other stuff, I'll throw it up there.
Well, there's a different audience for each subcategory of those. Like I know full well with my channel and seeing throughout other people's YouTubes is that people you have your short fans, you have the people that just want to absorb like a 10-minute content video or 5-minute video. Then there's people who love the long form. You have the Joe Rogan fans who want the 3-hour live stream.
Oh, geez,
you know what I mean? So you have people that really like the the draw stream where it's just us, and like I love the show I'm on, and we just BS about like pretty much what we did here, pop culture, what's in comics or even real life advice. It's a big, because we draw and talk at the same time, and I think that's really good with these live streams to draw. Not only does it show your fans and people that you're drawing it, it's not AI, but that you are capable of drawing it, but also it helps you if you're ever at like a convention or something like that. It helps you draw, and if you're talking, you're going to talk to the person that's there as well. So it gets you that practice in there. You know what I mean? To draw and talk at the same time, because it's not as easy as what people think. Because there are plenty of times, dude. It's happened on your show, happens on my show, where there's just dead silence.
Yes.
Well, it's drawn. It's because we're using that different part of our brain that's trying to think of the flex that creative part, and we're thinking. And so, so all of a sudden there's like a minute and a half of silence, and everybody's like, so She-Hulk, huh?
Yeah.
So so it happens. But yeah, everybody go subscribe to Jay. I love that channel. Yeah. I'm not always on. I try to be, but we all do things. I try
to go to the chat. It's Thursday night. Yeah, Thursday night.
Thursday at 10 p.m. Eastern is whenever he does the art department. So and hey, I sometimes miss a week of things. He might miss a week here or there. We have, like I said, we have lives. Everybody has a life, which comes first. So YouTube is social media. It's not life. So for the people who make it life, it's what they want to do. Cool. But for us, it just isn't. We have other things we're doing. But I love JBOT's channel, and I'm happy I got to know you. So
awesome. Thanks,
so is there any more questions left in the chat, Angela? Do you have any questions?
No, I don't. But yeah, I've definitely enjoyed having you on, and I'm hearing more about this project, and I'm very excited about it. So
awesome, thank you. Well, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I got to think of a new question, but I do have one last question to ask at the end of the show here. If you could work with anybody, living or dead, who would it be?
Oh man, that's tough. Frazetta first popped in my head. Yeah,
Frazetta.
That's a good option.
I'd have to, because he's been there. He's been there since I can remember. So I think I'd have to do something with Frazetta.
Nice.
I'd be like, paint Berserker for me, sir. Name your price.
And make sure there's a woman in there somewhere.
Yes, draw a hot babe in there.
Very cool. Very cool. Hey, thank you to everybody who showed up in the chat, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Appreciate it. Angela, thank you so much. Yes, thank you. The mods.
And
appreciate that.
Today at 7 p.m. Pacific is Aaron Lepresti.
Aaron is going to be going live. Awesome. Aaron is going to be going live at 7 p.m. Eastern. We like Aaron Lepresti over here. We love the Leprestis. Great people. Probably one of the best artists, and I'm being biased maybe, probably one of the best artists in the indie scene that we have going on right now.
Yeah.
He's phenomenal. So thank you again, everybody. Hit that like and subscribe if you're new, and have a great one.